This week on Barbell Business, we teach you how to build a kick-ass referral program, and we have a new download for you on exactly how to do that referral program at barbellbusiness.com/referral. Welcome to Barbell Business. I'm Mike Bledsoe, standing here with Doug Larson, Markus Gerszi.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about referrals. So, the number one way to get the best members of all time, pretty much.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Google it.
100%.
Look it up.
Yeah,
Look it up.
it's on Wikipedia, I heard. And, yeah. I want to say first, make sure if you are a CrossFit box owner, make sure to go over and check out our automation tools at barbellbusiness.com. Specifically Barbell Logic. If you're looking for ways to get new members more easily and retain them longer, it is the ultimate thing for that, I promise.
Awesome.
I thought referrals were the ultimate thing.
Yeah, come on.
It's the referrals are built into the Logic system.
Oh.
If you didn't know that. So if you want it done for you, we're going to tell you how to do it yourself. But if you just want it to be all done for you the best way possible ever, then you would do Logic.
Yeah, but that's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
So referrals, one of the most important elements of a great service business, right, is getting this piece dialed in. It is a great indicator that you are doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we're talking about this today is because this word gets tossed around like, oh, referrals should be your number one lead source. And like, yes and no. Yes, if you have a system for it that's measurable, repeatable, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like I'm hoping that my members tell their friends about it, and that's what I'm using as my marketing strategy.
Right. A lot of people don't have a marketing strategy at all. And so
Right.
how do you get new members? They say referrals, which means I just don't do shit.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah, and
We
specifically,
don't need an episode on how to do nothing.
we can't do that.
It'd be a really easy episode to make.
I figured
I
this was like our rainy day
I've been wanting to
episode.
do that one.
Go on vacation. Take a break.
Done.
That's
Cool.
the whole episode.
Catch you guys next week. No, what we really want to do is debunk what people are using to define referral program, because so many times we talk referral program, people are like, yeah, that means I incent my members to bring us their friends and family. And really, like, maybe, yeah, that's kind of part of the equation, but that's not the whole story. It's not just, hey, because you're a member here, if you send me your friends and family and they give me money, I'll give you money or prizes or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a broken approach to the referral concept. The referral concept is like you want people to be able to bring people in. It should be easy. It should be a win for the referrer, the referee, and the business. Like, it's got to be balanced between the stakeholders. There's like a whole kind of set of bullet points we want to talk about today to like help you build your own referral program and have it actually work, right? Rather than just like, hey, we do referrals, but it doesn't really work very well. I mean, 90+% of the gyms I talk to are like, please help me with this. Like, I've just been saying I have a good referral program, but it doesn't actually do shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we rebuild it based on these principles, and voila, it works really, really well. And everybody's stoked. The members love doing it. They're able to get friends and family in to work out with them and help people, and the business benefits. It's awesome when you get it right.
Yeah, you definitely want a system that everyone feels really good about. You don't want it to feel like it's like an MLM program or like a pyramid scheme where all of a sudden, like, one day your buddy doesn't have a job and the next day he's like, you got to buy these knives. They're the best knives on the planet. They're so good. And you know he's just doing it because, like, that's how he makes money. He's only selling you because, like, it's cash in his pocket and he doesn't give a shit about those knives in that example. Like, same thing with a referral program. If the person that's going to be your referee, you have a member that's going to invite his friend to come train and he's just doing it to get his $100, like, he might not feel the best about that. There's other better ways, and we're going to talk about those ways to incentivize your member to recruit his friends and family, where he feels good about it, you feel good about it, and the person being referred, the potential new member, also feels very good about it.
Totally. The psychology is just you're by default, by taking that approach, you're depending on the people who are the natural promoters and like influencers, which these are the like kind of natural salespeople who are going to go out and do this sort of thing anyway. But everybody else by default kind of feels like, the word I hear a lot is icky about like going out and doing this, because they're like, well, I'm really just doing it. I feel like I'm doing it to get the $100 now rather than doing it for someone, or I'm doing something good for someone. which kind of screws the whole psychology of the referral like thing up anyway.
It actually demotivates people.
That's what I'm saying. Like
And we
you'll
need
have
to-
less people do it.
The idea behind referrals is, I mean, the referrals are good. It's the most powerful type of potential member you're going to come walk through the door.
Yeah.
Because it's a testimonial, it's a friend. They're already thinking, I'm going to join my friends. I'm going to be in this community,
Yep.
at least with one other person, and they want me to be there, and maybe I'm getting something out of it by showing up, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And in the testimonials built in, and we know that testimonials are extremely powerful. If you want, if you go on a great website for a gym, some of the best marketing is those testimonials, like that social proof, and the social proof coming from somebody that you personally know who's telling you in person or referring it over is going to be extremely powerful.
Well, these are like we can all agree, a referred lead is the highest quality lead we can get because they're coming in with already someone who's kind of been in their ear and they've seen the story of like that person's success, and they're coming in saying, okay, this worked for my buddy. They already have the social proof piece done, and now it's just a matter of putting it in context for them and see, do you solve a problem for them too? And these people are the easiest to integrate because they already have a buddy. They're not going to show up and be like, oh, I don't know anybody, I feel awkward. They're going to be coming to class with someone. They're commiserating about how the workout yesterday kicked their butt together. They're going to be coming to events together. So they're going to socially integrate better, which means they're going to have better retention, not just in the short term, like that 3 to 6 month mark, but they'll probably stick around a really long time. It's like a win-win-win-win-win, like across the board. So really the game is, how do we make sure that we get as many good referred leads in as we can, even if it costs me a little bit between like what they can give away as an incentive, like to get someone in or something like that, because I'm getting the best quality new members in I could possibly get my hands on. So as long as the exchange works, turn up the volume, right?
And I hear this a lot from gym owners, which is, oh, how do you get most of your members? And they say word of mouth. Is what they say. And usually when I hear that, I think immediately that they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And word of mouth worked up to, maybe 30 members or 80 members, or you can't get to the next thing. And word of mouth worked up to this point, but at some point that's just going to putter out. Is that the word?
Peter out.
Peter out. That's what.
Peter out.
Putter out.
Patter out.
Putter out.
Putter out.
Putter out.
It's going to peter out like it. And
Putter out.
and that's where like a systematic approach comes in handy, and that's where a lot of times someone might think they have a referral program when they might have some type of incentive set up, but it's not systematic. It's not being presented the same way every day or every week or every 90 days. The coaches on staff, some coaches do it well. Some coaches don't feel like doing it, don't say it, don't think about it. And so it's not built in a systematic way. So, like step one is, I'm doing a good job, so I'm naturally going to get word of mouth. That's going to get you to a point. And then you might put together some type of incentive where, 5 of your 100 members are going to be right on top of it and just kind of pick up the ball and run with it. Someone who's comfortable selling your product for you. And then after that, you do have to go into like the ultra systematic. That's the next step, and that's what we're going to be talking about, is how are you going to systematically do this so it's the same all the time. That way you can make tweaks to it over time and constantly be improving it, instead of kind of like what I find people doing when they say word of mouth or have some type of incentive program. It's kind of like you're just shooting randomly, and sometimes it works and there's no real way to figure out how to improve it.
Yeah, you can't manage it if it's not measurable, and by making it into a system that is like a repeatable process that you can say, cool, I roll this out, this is how it works, and I can now manage how it's working. You can make little adjustments and whatnot, and voila, you're like, boom, we made that little change, and look at the increase we had in referred leads and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
even people that have a system, a lot of times what I see is that they have this system, but they don't consistently educate their members on how the system works, either in a group setting or one-on-one. They have the system, and a few of the coaches might remember what it is, but they made it, and then they kind of forget about it. They never talk about it again.
Oh, yeah.
So that constant
Super
process of re-education is something you're going to have to do on a daily, weekly basis.
yep,
I mean, that's something that happened to us a lot in the past. We would develop something, and 6 months later, we're going, what happened? And then
Or we're like, we need to make a referral program. We're like, we already did that. We did this 6 months ago.
yeah,
And
why,
then, oh, what was it?
right. Oh, we have a referral program.
Yeah.
It's like it's exactly, it's getting your staff up to speed so that everyone knows what's going on, exactly how it works. So it's the same thing from everyone. You're getting the message out there on a regular basis. You're educating your members on the way in at key times so that you can turn this into a process. So you make sure everyone's getting all the right information consistently, regularly, and voila, now it works.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to get into exactly how to build your system.
I'm Ryan Bucciantini, owner of KDA CrossFit in San Diego. What I was struggling with most was definitely getting athletes in the door. There's a ton of gyms in the San Diego area, and I was having a tough time really differentiating myself from the kind of local populace of gyms in the area. So I reached out to Logic, went through their kind of initial breakdown of the business, really revamped and went through where we were lacking, ended up redoing the website, going through our entire email campaign, and it really set us up to start to harvest leads a little bit more organically and allowed us to connect with our athletes, our potential athletes, on a much more thorough basis. I definitely had some reservations when I started researching Logic. I just wasn't sure what the return of investment was going to be. I've gone through programs like this before that I wasn't 100% really satisfied with. But after sitting down and talking with Markus, talking with the rest of the team, I decided to kind of take the jump, and I haven't looked back since. We've doubled our membership in less than 3 months. We went from about 50 members to just under 100 at this point. So the biggest benefit to our growth, it's allowed us to really expand our community. From a financial standpoint, obviously it's pretty fantastic to grow. The gym has just been significantly more fun with more people coming in and out the door on a daily basis. So retention after joining Logic, we've seen a huge increase. We were never really bad at retaining our athletes, but having some sort of constant survey that we always follow up with our athletes, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year out, or weekly, whatever we can do, Logic has really allowed us to find what things we can refine to make the athlete experience that much better and keep them coming back day after day after day. Working with the Barbell Logic team has completely shifted my direction as a business owner. Instead of just worrying about the day-to-day, the really minute things, they've allowed me to look at the bigger picture and how I can really grow my business and kind of step out of the mundane and look at the big picture options of where I need to start driving the business. Hands down, no questions asked. If you're not on Logic yet, you need to get there ASAP. It's gonna totally redefine how you operate, and it's gonna make your life significantly easier as an owner. If you're on the fence about Logic, just make the phone call, get over whatever limitations you have, whatever ego reason you have for not wanting to call them. It's gonna be the best decision you make, giving that team a call and just getting a chance to really dig deep into your business.
All right, we're back. We're talking about referrals. So one thing I want to note, again, make sure to check out barbellbusiness.com/referral and for the free download. So you can, we're basically handing you a system that you can base your own referral system off of. Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
Dive in. Let's do it.
All right. So where I want to start with this is with kind of the keys the keys to a great referral program that actually works, right? So we talked about this in the beginning of the show. There's some elements to it. Rule number 1, keep it simple. Okay, so creating this system where you have well, if you refer 1 to 3 people, you're going to get this. And if it's 4 to 5 people, you get this. But you're capped at 5 people if you send it over here. And just stop it. It doesn't need to be complicated. My rule of thumb is this. If you can't tell it to someone once in conversation, and they don't go, oh, I got it, and remember it, it was too complicated. It needs to be something that is very, very easy to understand. There's not a lot of swinging parts to it. So That's rule number 1.
That's something I've learned in business in general. We've encountered programs where not even just for a referral program, but people like to create. I'm one of these people. I love to create these super complicated systems. I'm so proud of it. I'm a genius. Oh, I got this part and this part, and if you do this and this and this, and it equals this, and then you're explaining to your staff, and they're like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And so, I mean, one of the things that we've encountered that people tend to make complicated in regard, not only referral programs, but say like coaches' compensation. I know there's a little bit of a tangent, but there's a good example because I get a lot of questions about that, and it seems to be confusing. And I've seen some systems people put together, and it's like, well, if the coach has been with us for this long, and they're doing this many classes, and it's like 4 different variables feeding in, and then the coach is wondering, what's the most important thing I could be doing? I have no idea. They're just confused. So too many moving parts in any type of system in your business. It takes a real genius to take something that's complicated and make it simple.
Yep.
So doing something complicated, a lot of times people are proud of this machine that they've built. You build this really complicated referral machine. And you're like, oh, it's got so many pieces, and I'm so smart. The real brilliant thing is if you can take that complex thing and simplify it. So that's when you're a genius.
Yeah, someone can actually take it and implement it really easily without a lot of explanation. You nailed it. As soon as you have to get the matrix out to be like, let me explain this to you, or go over to the whiteboard and be like, the way it works is carry the 3, but if you if you subtract 2, don't. Keep it really easy. I like to make it something that you can kind of sum it up. So as an example, think of as a member here, you have the ability to gift X amount of dollars to any friend or family member who you want to try us out. And guess what? If they sign up, you get X. And they're like, cool, I got it. And you're basically give X, get X.
Mm-hmm.
Done. And they're like, roger that. Never have to explain it again.
Yeah, and on that note, if you could make that number the exact same number and make it a big round number, it's like, okay, well, you refer somebody, they get $100 off their membership, and you get $100 off your membership. 100, bam, bam. That's really easy to remember. If it's any more complicated than that, then people will be like, wait a minute, did he get $100 and I got $200, or was it he got 2 and I got 100? Just make it 100, and then they can't forget.
Yep.
I'm curious, Doug. You had a big smile on your face when I was talking about something earlier. What were you thinking about?
I just enjoy listening to you talk.
Well, there's good news because there's a lot more of this coming.
No, I was smiling slash laughing because we've done so many of those things in the past that I'm filtering through all the times where we did make something way too complicated.
Right.
You were talking about coaches' compensation and things like that. We eventually learned that just giving somebody just a flat salary, you get $3,000 a month, done, boom. That's so much easier than setting up all these tiers where if you coach a morning class, then you get $15. You coach the evening class, you get $20. You coach the weekends, you get $25, and then you got to add all those up. And then, if you're doing personal training, you get this other set amount. If you're tracking it all hourly in your example, then it becomes an enormous headache, not just for them to remember, but for you to track as well and to be able to pay somebody the correct amount. If you just say you get your flat base monthly salary, your whole life is just so much easier.
Yeah, I think there's a target you can aim for. Whenever you're trying to make something that is appearing complex, if you want to make it simple, my rule around that is find out the number one thing that you want to happen. What is the best thing that could happen? What's the biggest bang for your buck? And create one single incentive to go for that bullseye. You start. If say you have I have my primary goal and my secondary goal and my tertiary goal. Well, now it's just going to kind of get spread all over the place because it's going to confuse people. Find the one thing you want to happen and just create one incentive for that and hand it to them. That's all you got to do. That makes it. That'll help you think a little more focused and be a genius.
Yep. And speaking of incentives, that brings us to rule number 2. Okay, structuring your incentive properly. And the key to this, and we already kind of teased it in the example we gave on rule number 1, it's not about how much necessarily you're giving the person. It's not about saying, hey, you send me a friend or family member, I'm going to give you this. The psychology is broken, like we said in the beginning. You're making it about the wrong thing, and it's actually turning more people off than it is on to actually doing something with this. So you want to structure this about them being able to give something and do something nice. They've got the hookup. They can do something that normally you wouldn't have access to, any sort of discount or anything like that. But because I'm a member here, it's a perk for me as a member to gift the first, $100 towards your membership, right?
Yep.
So
you want to turn your member into the cool guy.
Yeah, exactly. Make them feel like they have a little bit of the velvet rope, hey man, I can hook you up. That always feels really good. And then if it works out, then they get a thank you. And then that's where you package the incentive, right? So that way, if someone is driven by the incentive, great. They're going to see that and be like, awesome, I get $100. Most people aren't though. So you're going to appeal to the majority, which is, I just want to do something nice for someone. So when you say like, hey, as a member here, you have the ability to gift $100 towards any friends or family members first month. And guess what? If they sign up, we'll give you $100 towards your next month. Right? Now they're like, oh, cool. I get to do this awesome thing. And if it works out, I get a thank you. Right? You repackage the same idea and now it's going to be way more effective.
Yeah, definitely. We found early on that anytime you make it possible, we actually discovered this way back in the day. We don't really recommend this anymore so much, but when we did the first time we ever did a Groupon, as we found a lot of people who were not referring their friends when we had that one-sided referral incentive where it was like, oh yeah, you get a month free membership or something like that if you refer a friend. The moment they were able to, like when we did the Groupon, people went, oh, all the people they've been telling about CrossFit and they weren't biting, they were now like, you have to do it now. If you do it now, this month, it's only like $60 to do the fundamentals course or something like that. And so that's when we first recognized that people were way more excited about hooking their friends up than getting anything themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the person that is going to be referred to be a new member, that's the person that really needs like the extra kick, the extra motivation to actually like make the leap and become a member. So making it where it's a little easier for them, you're lowering the barrier to entry for the new person who's still, again, they're a little bit intimidated, they're a little bit, not that they've probably been talked to about CrossFit before, that friend has probably already been in their ear before, and now you're making it where the barrier to entry is a little lower, where they can finally kind of just be like, okay, I'm going to go for it, and they'll kind of leap across the line. So making it where the member can make it easier for their friend to come in really is the big game plan.
Yep, because remember, they don't have the whole story yet. And we'll get into this more on the next rule about the sales conversation itself. But you just need to get them in. Like I said, we just want to get the referred person in, and oftentimes they don't have the full context as to how this applies to them yet, because we know how tricky it is to actually sell a membership correctly with managing expectations and perceived value and all that correctly. That's an art, right? And so we just want to make it easier for them. So they're like, okay, cool, why not give it a try? But we all know that if we can get them in working out together and they actually wanted to actually, get fit or get in shape, this is going to work out great. It's going to be totally worth it, right? Okay, so rule number 3. The sales conversation. Take it off of your member's plate, okay? This, again, is kind of a fundamental flaw in the like, hey, send me your friends and family, and if they sign up, I'll give you stuff for it. Basically, you're making your members have to sell for you. Now, there is a percentage of your member base that are those natural influencers and kind of salespeople, and they have no problem being told no or being turned down by someone when they pitch something to a friend or family member.
3%.
Right? Is it 3%? It's like next to nothing, right? I believe the stat is. So, but what this basically means is like you're setting your members up for social failure and putting them in uncomfortable positions, which once it happens once, they're not going to repeat it, right? Because think of like the story that your members, friends, and family have seen. It's like, oh, so, someone's like, hey, you should come and sign up for CrossFit. And the person's like, wait, hold on a second. Is this the same place that 6 months ago you said, I'm scared to death to try this. I've got my first day tomorrow. I'm doing this scary new program. It's fucking crazy, but I'm going to do it. And then you go into it and you're like, oh my God, I've never worked out so hard in my life. I feel like I'm dying, but it's so fun. And, and I've never been so sore in my life. And then you're like, isn't this also the place where I saw the picture of you laying on the floor looking like you had a heart attack after a workout? And you're like, oh, sweat angel or whatever the hell you were doing. And didn't you also have a picture about you saying you did a workout that had 100 pull-ups in it? I've never done a pull-up. And how much do you say you pay a month for this? $150 or $200? Yeah, I pay $20 a month for mine, and I hate that too. So why am I going to go, So
Right.
The story that they're seeing secondhand isn't actually complimentary like you think it might be, right? So by them then saying like, because they're going to say that to a friend, like, you should try this out. The person comes back with something like that. They're like, you're right, fuck this. I'm not going to be told no again. So instead, take that piece out of it. Let them do the thing that they can't screw up, they can't feel uncomfortable, which is just be the cheerleader. Be the like, did you sign up yet? Did you come in yet? How did you like it? That's the promoter they want to be anyway.
Yeah.
So what we do is we want to take the sales conversation off of the member's plate. And you do that by you inviting the person, you sending the voucher. So let's say it's the give 100, get 100 example. Create a form on your website or a landing page that you can drive your members to take advantage of the referral program, where it's like, hey, as a member, you have ability to gift $100 towards any friends and family members, yada, yada, yada. Simply input their info below and we'll send them the voucher on your behalf. And so now you're sending it to the person and saying, hey, Marcus must think you're pretty cool because he just sent you a $100 credit to come and train with him at his favorite gym, CrossFit Active Performance. If you're interested in learning more, we're offering a free session for you to come in and check out the gym, learn about our programs, experience a workout, and see if it's a good fit for you. Click here to schedule your free session. Now this person's going to come in through your pipeline like anybody else. You can, if you have a good system for it, they could be tagged as a referral, so you already have context like, oh, hey, you're a friend of Marcus, is awesome, can't wait to get you in here. And you just go through your normal program, and you now then get to pull the card on that you get to do the sales process, because you all know how hard it is to sell memberships right. What makes you think your members are going to do a better job than you? Not saying that there's not a percentage, but it's a small percentage of your people. I think you said it was 5%, right? 6, 7. Percent of people who are those natural promoters and who are okay with that, right? These are also the same people that like a week after they sign up at your gym, they've got like 5 buddies coming in with them, right? And they're like, I don't even know why I'm here. He just told me to come and sign up.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you see that happening, you got to focus on that guy.
Right.
That's your A player superstar.
That's
like
a super promoter. Yeah.
Don't treat every member like they are equal. They are not equal as far as their promotional value and willingness to recruit and bring in their friends. Some people are just naturally super extroverted. They got tons of friends. Like they're like Mr. Cool Guy. They party a lot. They know tons of people. Like those are going to be the people that like they can't stop talking about CrossFit, and like they're going to be bringing people in. So leverage that, focus on those people, and get them on your team. Like if there's someone that's super quiet and that, they're not really the coolest person in the gym, like you don't spend as much time with them as you spend with this other person. Like you got to focus on those 2 or 3 promoters that like are really going to be like half of your referrals for just 1 or 2 people.
Yep. And that brings up another point, is that most of the people who are doing this are pretty insecure about what they're doing when they're first getting started. So understanding the timing of when we do this, if you are asking someone when they're a brand new member to refer friends and family, the majority are going to feel uncomfortable because they're like, no, because I'm actually still really embarrassed about not knowing what the hell I'm doing here. And I don't want to bring my friends and family in to watch me flounder until I feel like I'm comfortable and I'm like socially kind of integrated. They won't say this, but this is what's psychologically kind of happening and why a lot of people aren't referring right away. So the trick is you got to make sure you get the timing down. So what I suggest is that when someone is onboarding and they become a new member, let them know of the referral program right as they sign up, so that those power promoters can like get right to what they're going to do anyway, and they know there's a system and you can manage it. The other people, you're just planting the seed, and you're going to revisit it 6 months down the road once they've been with you for a while, and you can weave this into a newsletter, or you do an announcement on it, or you have a satisfaction survey which this ties to this thing. Like then you can weave it back in once someone's a little bit more integrated, and they're going to be more likely, right, to now refer friends and family, because they're like, hey, I'm kind of like, I know what's going on around here now. Like I feel like I know the difference of the different movements, and I'm not going to be looking like an idiot, and I'm going to be able to show you around, kind of a thing, right?
Yep, totally.
Yeah, one of my favorite books is Drive by Daniel Pink, and that book's all about the psychology of motivation and behavior. And so a really interesting point he brings up in that book is that you have these 2 different types of rewards. You have something called an if-then reward. Like if you do this thing, I'll give you this thing. Like you give me a referral, I'll give you $100 or whatever. And then you have a now that reward, where if someone gives you a referral, they don't know that you're going to give them anything, and then now that they did it, you give them $100 and it's a surprise. And motivation into the future to repeat that same action tends to be much higher when you give somebody a now that reward. So if you surprise them and you give them the $100 versus having it promised beforehand, they're much more likely in the future with the surprise to go and repeat that same behavior. So it doesn't mean that you never should, you shouldn't promise somebody, you do this thing, I'll give you this amount of money. Like, you work for me and I'll give you a salary. Like you're still going to do that, but having those little surprises built in makes it where people are they're going to work a little harder for that thing in the future. So we were brainstorming things that a gym owner could do, and I actually have not done this, but I think it's a great idea. After someone brings you a referral, just be like, very informally, where it's not too businessy, it's not so transaction based. Just be like, you know what, man, thank you so much for that. Like, dude, go in the shop and just grab something, whatever you want, just t-shirt, sweatshirt, protein, like just whatever you want, dude. And you can hook them up, and they're like, dude, I just got hooked up. Like that was so nice of him. He didn't have to do that. And then they also get the I don't know, satisfaction, or they get the fun experience of going into the store and being able to choose one of anything they want. And that's kind of a fun thing that they'll probably go tell that story. Like they'll be like, dude, I hooked them up, and like I just got to go in the store, and I got to grab this protein or this t-shirt or whatever, and they'll continue to tell the story and talk about how cool you were for being so nice to like just let you go into the store and pick any item you wanted.
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times where they're like, oh, just go to the store, get 5 items or something, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like a baller. Someone goes, I like that shirt. I was like, yeah, I got it for free.
Yeah, you want to tell them.
So, so-and-so brand, just, hooked it up.
And that's for those of you who don't want to like do the incentive driven referral program, that is like the go-to for me on like you do like handwritten thank you card, and then you can say, you know what, man, go ahead and grab yourself a shirt off the rack, or like you said, go grab whatever you want, or you can now, because they didn't do it because of it, and like you said, it's kind of the unsuspected or unexpected surprise that you're able to add in, and that way it's not a incentive-driven one. But like even if you are doing incentives, a little trick I like to put in at the end is when someone then converts, right? So you told them like, hey, give 100, get 100. The person comes in. First of all, when they do this, when you're having the sales conversation, when you are like telling the person, right? So let's say it's like, hey, and you're going to sign up, 6-month membership, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Because you were referred by Markus, this is actually a special perk that we offer our members. He actually took care of the first $100 of your membership for you. So make sure you give him a high five and buy him a beer or something because he hooked you up. You just flipped the psychology on what they got. They didn't get a discount. It feels like the member took care of it for you. The member's going to be like, oh, snap, that actually worked. Like he went in, he signed up, and he came back and thanked me, and I get to say, I told you so. Like that all feels really good. And then the pro tip is go buy a stack of nice thank you cards, pens, envelopes, and then go buy a stack of like $5 Starbucks cards, or you can do the like walk over to the wall thing. And whenever someone converts, grab a card and write like, okay, so dear Markus, thank you so much for referring Steve. He's up and running on the program and he's killing it all thanks to you. Referrals mean the world to us. You're the man. P.S. I've already taken care of your next month for you, so you're all good to go there. And here's a little something extra to get you charged up for your next workout. XOXO, Coach Steve, or whatever. And now go put that in the member's hand. You slide the little $5 Starbucks card in there. That's the little unexpected thing. Dude, you just checked every emotional checkbox on creating a referral machine. You made it easy. It was about them being able to give something, and then if it works out, they get something. No pressure to sell because I didn't have to do the sales conversation. They came in, it worked. The buddy came back and thanked them. Then afterwards, you're going to go back and write a handwritten thank you note, give it to them. There's a little something extra in there. Plus, you told them, hey, that thing you're probably going to have to chase me down for a month from now and be like, hey, wasn't I supposed to like get a discount? Is that this month or next month? Or you just took the confusion out of that and just said, hey, I already took care of it for you. You're good to go. And then here's a little something extra. You just created a referral machine because you did all of the key things to be like, well, anytime there's an opportunity now, I'm totally going to do that again. Right?
No doubt.
Yeah, and if you tell someone you're going to give them $100 off their membership and you fucking forget about it, they're going to be so pissed. So don't forget to actually make the change in your system.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would do is that the second the person converts, as I'm hooking up their card, I would go into the member's account and right then and there for the next month. Remember, you don't have to do that month so that you feel like you're ever out any money. You can parlay it out over the next month and say, okay, well, next month I took care of it for you. So now you're winning both months, and you don't forget about it. There's no way for it to slip between the cracks. That should just be part of your SOP for signing up a referred person.
Nope.
Absolutely.
So on that note, if you want all of this nice and neatly bulleted out with a nice little guide on how to build this program on your own, make sure you visit barbellbusiness.com/referral and go ahead and download this thing. And if you want to see our beautiful, or mostly their beautiful faces talking all about this, you can go to barbellbusiness.com. What is it, /episode?
What we at, Hunter? Episode
He has no idea.
139.
Hold on, wait for it.
We just wrote this down.
Nope, we didn't write it down. We just talked about it way too loosely. Episode 139, where you can watch the video version of this, or check it out on YouTube and get the whole scoop. And hopefully you can build yourself a kick-ass referral program going into 2017 or whenever you're listening to this show, because this is timeless. So anything else you guys want to add?
That's it. Good deal. Thanks, fellas.
Right
Later.
on. Crush
right.
it.
See y'all.